Hi guys, just a quick update from me. Couple of things. First thing I wanted to do was show how my Ben's Best Bitter from my last video, now that it's carved up a little bit better. Much better, eh? So while I'm pouring this, I've got myself a new toy, so what I want to do is cut to that and let you see some footage of that, so be back in a minute. This is actually really good. Oh, hi guys. Just wanted to share with you my new purchase that I'm very excited about. Check this out. Wonderful, absolutely delighted with this. Let's lift the lid off. Wow, I didn't know it came with one of those. Okay. Say bye.
Bye bye.
Hi, well, that was fun. You'll have gathered I'm quite excited about this, so big shout out to Christian Brew Beer and Beer Lover 1983 Brew, who've recently been talking about these pots. I thought, you know what, this sounds like the right solution for me. I really fancy the idea of brewing outside. Joe's not a big fan of the hops boiling away in the house. Can't see why, but anyway, it's also, you're never going to regret having a really decent pot. So you know what, I'm going to use this one, and if the induction hobs, which are over here, which I've also got, now I've gone for two smaller ones, two kilowatt ones. They're Andrew James single induction hobs. Two of these delivered to the Highlands for £64 from Amazon.co.uk. So I guess the job today is to try and get this up and running outside, and basically I need to see whether it's going to trip the fuse in the shed. We've only got a single, what do you call it, spur. A spur coming from the house into the shed here. There's quite a number of plugs in here, but there's no current getting drawn off any of them, but they are today, so I'm going to run a couple of extension leads outside and basically just see if it trips the fuse and see what kind of power rating we can get out of these. We might have to dial them down a bit, so they'll probably both go up to 10, so we might have to run them both at 7 or something like that, and we'll just see how we get on. So we'll get back to you in a minute. So far so good. This is what the setup is hopefully going to be looking like into the future. So we've got two of those induction hobs back to back. I've put one on at 10. Just about see. Not sure that comes out, but it does say 10. And the other one comes on at 5. Now what I'm thinking is that I should probably try and crawl before I start running, but one of my thinking is to have some sort of recirculation arm coming out of the boiler and then back into the top. I really like the idea of being able to do step mashes one of these days. So when the STC 1000 or equivalent is clicking in and off, it's going to power the induction hob onto number 5, I think. That's going to be the default setting. In fact, that's a point actually. I'm just thinking that might not work, because when the power goes off, I think it goes into standby mode. So anyway, so I might have to give some second thoughts to that. Anyway, we have one on 10, one on 5, and they're both working. So far so good. I'll probably just have to wind it up to 10 each and just see if the power trips or not. I've got two separate power cords coming out of the shed at least, so at least that bit's safe. Okay, so kind of good news and bad news. We're just coming up to the boil. It's taken ages. I wasn't sure how long I was expecting it to take, but I don't know, it's an hour and a half or something. And anyway, so the bad news was that the power tripped a couple of times. It didn't blow the fuse, but it did trip the safety device, I forget what you call them. So I guess it was doing its job for whatever reason. And I just reset it, and that was about, well, just when it was just starting. After the first 20 minutes or something, it tripped, and then I got it started again. and then about 10 minutes later it tripped again. I thought, that's, well, fair enough. And I gave it one more go, and then for the last hour it's been absolutely fine. So I'm just wondering if it's maybe the cables. The cables might have been just a wee bit damp. Maybe they've been in here over the shed over the winter. It's middle of February, so I'm just wondering if maybe the cables have just been the reason with a high current going through them. I'm no expert. But anyway, I'm going to leave this to boil for half an hour or so, just to make sure that everything's working. So I've had the units, one on 10 all the time, obviously with the problems tripping, but one of them on 10 and the other one up to 7. And probably what I'll do now is bang the other one up to 10 after half an hour or so, assuming there's no problems, and see if it trips with both units going full pelt. But anyway, so far it looks like this might work, and all I need now is really to get a proper brew on and do some proper footage. So I guess that is going to be a fairly decent boil. Obviously it has to have the lid off, otherwise it was just about boiling over when I took it off. But 10 and 7 seems to work out fine. Well, just a last update of this test. It's been boiling away for about half an hour. Both units on at number 10, absolutely no problem with the power, so I'm quite happy about that. The boil's not quite as vigorous as I might have hoped. I kind of imagined having to turn it down a wee bit, but then the pot's barely on each of the rings. So I think once we get some insulation around the outside of the unit, it's quite a cold day as well, also doesn't help. But anyway, so far so good. This is going to be the setup, so quite exciting. Hi, welcome back. So I'm planning a proper brew day tomorrow. I'm going to be making a stout with some liquid malt extract that I still have in the house. So I want to use that first. Primarily just so that I've got one less thing to worry about. If I went full into all grain mashing and stuff with a new system and everything, I think that's just a little bit too much for me. I'll just stick with what I know a little bit and use the equipment properly and do a proper brew day. Oh, yes. Say bye! Ah dear, should have done this earlier. Anyway, so there'll be some footage of this brew that I'm doing tomorrow. Quite excited about it. There'll be much more to talk about it later on, but just as a wee clue, it's a stout. I know one or two of you have been giving me some feedback on some stouts that I've been talking about and stuff on the forums and things, so it's all good. What else? I was going to say something. Oh yeah, I wanted to give a shout out to Beer Lover 1983 Brew and Christian Brew Beer, because they're the guys that have got me all excited to go and get this kit together and go down the induction route, which I think is going to work for me. Brew in the bag, single pot, doing it outside, you know what, on a lovely spring day, although we're still in the middle of winter, but I can just see it being a really nice thing to do. So anyway, cheers and good health. Okay, cheers for now.